The Brits are a nation of curry lovers. 1 in 4 of us eat an Indian meal once a week. We spend over £2 billion a year on Indian food. And one misguided government minister has decreed that chicken tikka masala is now the national dish. Something which makes the Indians here in India laugh because they've never tasted it. Anyway, I've come to India because of all of those reasons to find out for myself what Indian food is really all about. Thank you. In this 8-part series, I shall be travelling throughout India, trying to unravel the mysteries of Indian food. My journey takes me from the coconut palm-fringed waterways of Kerala to the congested streets of Madras, a teeming city that was the first British settlement. In Goa, I almost go troppo wandering around an idyllic spice plantation. It's so pleasant, I almost bought a shack. Then I escaped the clamour of Bombay by taking the toy train to the clean-aired sanctuary of the Mataran Hill Station. Overall, it was unbearably hot. My makeshift burners were forever blowing up. I'm having real problems controlling my gas here this morning. But after 2 months of scratching the surface of this bizarre country, I have discovered the magic of its exquisite food. Love it or hate it, India waits for you. So, I'm starting my gastronomic tour in one of India's most beautiful regions, Rajasthan, and its capital, Jaipur. So this is the land of the Maharajas, their invincible forts and their extravagant palaces. Commonly known as the Pink City, painted that colour to honour the visit of the Prince of Wales in 1876, it is in fact terracotta-coloured. This regal city, despite neglect, overpopulation and chaotic traffic, is, with its bustling bazaars, beautiful architecture and colourful citizens, a delight to visit. Take the Palace of the Winds, for example, a folly in the grand manner. It is not strictly a palace, but a grandstand for privileged ladies to observe street life and processions while the west wind blew gently through its 953 glassless windows to keep them cool. Camels are ideally suited to the desert, and these arrogant and noble beasts are used to transport all manner of produce and merchandise throughout the region. In Kanota, near Jaipur, you can buy, as I did, though later I gave it back, buy a camel for about 200 quid. So, here's one of me and the trusty Papu taking me sedately to work at the water palace called Jal Mahal. The palace was built by the Maharaja Pratap Singh as a cool summer retreat in this man-made lake where water buffalo and elephants bathe and play. But it's the same old story. Abandoned in 1939, it is now inexorably crumbling away. And to misquote Ray Davies and the Kinks, the taxman's taken all my dough and left me in my stately home, lazing on a sunny afternoon. It is now owned and a bit neglected by the state. If you want to make an authentic Indian curry, the first thing you do is go to your store cupboard and throw away those tins of curry powder that you've had in there for the last 9 months. Curries depend on the spices, and here are just a few of them that are used in everyday Indian cookery. There are chilies and sesame seeds and coconuts and cardamoms and mace and nuts and tamarind, all sorts of things. The fundamental thing about a curry is making what's called a masala. Now, this is a mix of spices, either whole or ground, and either dry or mixed with, say, vinegar or water to form a paste. And to get the best flavours from these spices, first of all, you must very lightly toast them in a dry frying pan. This brings out the flavour. Then, using your coffee bean grinder, grind them into a smooth powder. But now, I'm going to make a sumptuous biryani, which is a rice-based dish, as of course you know. The first thing I did was I soaked and washed my rice in gallons and gallons of water till I got rid of all the starch. Then I left it to soak for an hour, then strained it. Then I fried it in coconut oil in this kadai, which is what I've done. Kadai is one of the most popular cooking pots here in India. I fried it so it was all sautéed nicely, then just covered it with water, let it cook till the water had gone. It's now 3/4 cooked. Incidentally, this is another very popular cooking method in India. It's called a tawa. It's a hot plate. They can make bread on that and all sorts of things. Here, this is in the handi, an all-purpose, heavy-bottomed cooking pot. In oil, I've got some onions frying so they're nice and brown. These are the red onions. Do always try to get the red onions for Indian food. They're very, very delicious. Then we'll add some ginger and garlic paste. You can stir that in well, let it cook for a moment or two. Then I made a dry masala of cloves, mace, cardamom and cinnamon and ground it up in the little coffee grinder and produced a little powder like this. This is a masala, a dry masala. So we put that in and let that cook. Get the powderiness out of it by cooking and stirring all the time over a fairly low heat. Then we add some red chili powder and similarly cook that for a few minutes. It's well absorbed. Next we put in our pieces of mutton, which is on the bone. It's much nicer on the bone. Incidentally, when on an Indian menu in India they say mutton, they normally mean goat, and it's jolly nice too. Right, make sure they're well coated with the masala. That is the masala around the meat. Then next, some natural yogurt. We put in that, and now we let that cook away very slowly until the yogurt has evaporated and dried up, the meat has absorbed the flavours of the masala, and the oil begins to separate from the masala. We now add in some double cream. We stir that around for a second or two. At this stage, we'll add some really nice things, some blanched almonds, some cashew nuts, some raisins or sultanas, some fresh mint, and some fresh coriander. Next, we bring over the rice, not mixed in, but on top of the mutton. And layer it over the top like that. But what is important and a bit time-consuming and laborious is to make a basic paste of flour and water to go around the edge of your lid so that no steam can escape and all the aromas, all the spices, all the herbs are bedded in there and are going to flavour the rice. That'll be about 20 minutes. And I'm going to eat it for my lunch, and I might even invite the director.
So, this is my first authentic Indian dish, the biryani. It was so good on this one to be able to use the edible silver leaf, an opulent garnish so beloved of the extravagant Maharajas.
The outskirts of Jaipur are home, if you can call it that, to refugees and illegal immigrants existing in squalor and poverty. But soon you pass into another, more agreeable landscape of little villages with their cultivated allotments in the more fertile valleys protected by hills and mountains. One such village is Rauri, home for over 200 years of the Meena tribe. Today, only 60 people live here. In this almost biblical setting, the men tend the fields and animals, buffaloes, goats, camels and chickens, while the women raise the children. In the serene gloom of her tiny house, here, Buli Bai is preparing an eggplant and potato dish. First, she makes the masala by crushing garlic, ginger, red chilies, turmeric and coriander seeds with a stone. Later, she puts the masala and mustard oil into a silver pot called a degchi, and after washing the vegetables, she adds them to the pot. The dish will take about 25 minutes to cook, and it's time for me to go and prepare mine. In simple Indian villages like this, they don't have ovens. So if they want to roast something, they have to dig a pit in the ground, line it with cow dung, dried cow dung pats, which they set fire to, then get their rabbit or chicken, whatever, stuff it, wrap it in banana leaves, put it in the fire, and then put more fire on top of that and leave it. So that's exactly what we're going to do with the rabbit. But first, I must make a marinade for the rabbit with crushed garlic and ginger, red chili powder, some garam masala, which is made from black peppercorns, cinnamon, mace, bay leaves and cloves and ground together. Garam masala, you'll hear it a lot over the next few weeks. And a load of lemon juice to make a really good paste.
Then we're going to stuff our rabbit with some nuts. But any kind of nut will do except possibly peanuts. As long as they're blanched, you can stuff them in. And you might even add some raisins too. And then you've got these little nuts, which none of us on the shoot know what they are. The Indians can't tell us in English, and we can't understand the Indian, and we haven't got a dictionary. But anyway, it's basically just nuts. Then I'll just stitch it with this string. Right. Snip that off. Then we put our marinade all over the rabbit. And the fun bit becomes, we have to make a bit of a compromise here. And pop down a piece of tin foil. Of course, the locals wouldn't have the luxury of that. They would use just banana leaves and make a very neat packet. But I'm going to put my banana leaves on the tin foil. Rabbit on there. 2 more banana leaves. And then wrap it up tightly in the tin foil. And in the ideal world, you would leave that for 4 hours in your fridge before putting it into an ordinary domestic oven. But as I say, here they don't have such things, so it's a hole in the ground job. Now, all over India, you will see these cowpats drying, and they're a very, very useful source of inexpensive fuel. So we've dug a hole, started cooking some of these things, and what we'll do, we'll place the rabbit into there and cover it with 1 or 2 more bits and probably leave it there for about 25 minutes. Earlier, I experimented on one and cooked it for 40 minutes and it was charred to a cinder. So I think about 20 minutes will do that. And of course, in a hot domestic oven, maybe 15 to 20 minutes. Ouch, it's hot, excuse me. Right. It certainly smells all right. And it certainly looks all right. That is absolutely fine. What a cracking little dish. Well, it might be a primitive way of cooking, but it's certainly effective. A wild rabbit stuffed with nuts, marinated in chili paste, wrapped in banana leaves, and cooked in cow dung. When the Maharajas of Jaipur weren't shooting tigers, playing roulette and backgammon, or entertaining the Prince of Wales or Jackie Kennedy, they had the odd chukker of elephant polo. This dynamic and fast-moving game has been unique, I'm told, to Jaipur for 300 years. And needless to say, vast wagers were placed. But it was only after the Maharaja of Jaipur lost a load to the Maharaja of Jodhpur that he added a very pertinent rule to the game. No elephant may lie down between the goalposts. And, incidentally, it's extremely uncomfortable and the stick thing is very heavy. Hey! Now, a really hassle-free way to see the beauties of the Jaipur architecture is to take a rickshaw. This way, as you're pedalled leisurely around the place, albeit rather terrifyingly, as the traffic crisscrosses in front of you and cows wander aimlessly about the place, you have all the time in the world to enjoy the sights. Anyway, I'm headed for my hotel. I hope I'll get there. Every week we're going to have a culinary guru to explain some of the mysteries of Indian food. Our very first one is the executive chef of the Trident Hotel in Jaipur called Sandhu, and you're going to make some lamb shanks.
Sure, Keith. Good morning.
Great stuff.
So what we're going to do today is the lamb shanks, which come across as the most popular dish here in the region of Rajasthan. And it's basically not so rich, but at the same time, good kid with a nice smooth satin gravy. So what we start with is a little bit of oil in this. And now once the oil starts getting a little hot, that's the time when we add a little bit of cinnamon. And we go with a little bit of cloves, some mace. We just give it a slight stir. And now you can hear the wonderful sound of it crackling out there. Now at this stage, what we have to do is add some chopped onions into this. There's some nice aromas you can already smell. We're getting it nearly there. So once it is slightly more brown like this, now this is a stage for it to have some of the ginger garlic paste, which we already have ready here. A good helping of that. We start with some coriander powder, a little bit of chili powder, half a spoon of turmeric, add a little bit of stock here.
This is lamb stock.
That's right. And now at this stage, we're all set to have the shanks going into the gravy. It's a kid, it's a beautiful young lamb. Five of them. And it has to simmer for around half an hour to 40 minutes.
Right.
It's something which anybody could do at home.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, Chef Sandhu's tender shanks of lamb simmered in a delicate, spicy gravy. And now it's my turn. I'm going to cook a thali, and this is a way where you can sample several dishes of Indian food all at the same time, from starter through to main course through to sweet. This enables people who haven't a lot of money to try different dishes, or people who don't know about food to try different dishes. So the first one is a lentil dish. We put some cumin seeds into the hot oil until they crackle. Then we put some chopped green chilies, saute them very gently. Then I add some red chili powder, mix that well into the oil, cook that well in. Then we add some tomato puree. Then we add some onions, which I've already fried off for speed. And use these little red onions or red shallots, they're really flavoursome. Then we put in the lentils, which have been blanched and partly cooked. Then we add a little drop of water. Some chopped coriander, a pinch of salt. Now we leave that to cook. Murray, can you change this tray, please? Bring in the next one. The next one is going to be onions cooked in yoghurt. Stick that one now onto the slow stove, let it simmer away. Same routine. Some oil, a little drop of oil, and put in the cumin seeds till they crackle. Then we stir in some ginger and garlic paste. Then some chopped onions. And then, over a low heat, I've made a mixture of chili powder, coriander powder, and turmeric and yogurt. Now, although I'm making a vegetarian thali, you can of course make meat ones too.
We just let that simmer until the onions start to fall apart and the sauce has got nice and rich and thick. Thank you. Bring the next one in. Put those on to simmer. Thanks very much. Right. A terribly popular dish in India is cottage cheese in spinach. And again, we start the process by crackling some cumin seeds. Once they start to crackle, we add some chopped garlic and saute that for a few moments till it colours. The second that begins to take some colour, we add some chili powder, red chili powder, and some coriander powder. Mix that well in and let it cook to release the flavours of the spices and also to get rid of the powderiness. As soon as that's done, next we add our little pieces of cottage cheese. turn the gas down a little because it's a bit too hot. Then the pureed spinach. It's very simple, just fresh leaves of spinach, just whack through in the food processor. A little salt. Then some ghee, which is effectively clarified butter. Mix that around really well. And finally, over a very low heat, simmer it with some thick cream. Now you must cook this over a very low heat for not very long, otherwise it will curdle. Next tray, please, Murray. Thank you. I think he's getting the message. Mind you, it is our first programme. I hope we'll improve. Thank you. Stick that onto the thing. And finally, potatoes with cumin seeds and chilli. First thing we do. Crackle the cumin seeds. Then we'll stir in some chilli and ginger paste. You just make that very easily by peeling the ginger, peeling the garlic, and whack it in a little food processor. Then we have a little bit of coriander powder and some garam masala powder. Then a little red chili powder. We'll add a little bit more oil. Then some parboiled potatoes cut into cubes. And some fresh coriander leaves. And a little drop of water. And again, we let those cook away till the sauce is thickened. The potatoes are coated with the quite thick sauce. So this, then, is a thali. Lentils simmered in chili sauce, onions cooked in yogurt sauce, cottage cheese with spinach, potatoes with cumin seeds and spices, saffron rice, and yogurt raita.
Rajasthan is everything you expect of India. Elephants, camels, forts, palaces, colourful people, wonderful food. So, all I have to say is, if this is India, I'm really looking forward to the next 8 weeks.